Hello and welcome to the Innovator Channel. The only slingshot you will ever need for only £10. Any design, any colour, any features, and here it is. Yes, I know what you were thinking, quite rightly. You were thinking it was the Hyperfit. My creation. Here is an example. This may be aimed at people who are new to slingshots. Maybe, but maybe not, if you think about it. These plastic beads that you soften with heat. Some people use water, but actually I find that using a heat gun is actually far more effective. Essentially, if I'm doing large items, what I've got here, I've got a large stainless steel fruit bowl, and it's very good for keeping the heat in place. Obviously you can use anything, but initially if you're going to use a heat gun you need something to get the little beads, these little beads, to stick together. Once they're stuck together, then you can move them around until they become a solid mass. Now while we're talking about a solid mass, not only using thermoplastic you can create any shape you want, you can actually colour thermoplastic any colour you want using something as simple as a Sharpie. When you first start the project, you start with a big blob. You get that big blob, you smooth it out if you will, and you colour on just with a Sharpie all as in lots of area. It doesn't have to be all over, but lots of area. You fold it in, you fold it in, and then you kind of move it out again. You keep filling in the colour, you fill it in basically until you get a colour you want. Now in this case, this is just a little simple thing I made a while ago. I wanted a marble effect, so that's exactly what I did. I took a blob, mixed in the black, but didn't mix it in all the way. I ended up with this really nice marble. I knew that's what I'd get. But as you just saw, even this, I mean, look at that pink. That's a very dense pink. That was done essentially with a pink magic marker, permanent marker. That's very good. You could do any colour you like. Also, especially if you're new to this, you don't need many tools. I mean, anyone doesn't need many tools. Heat gun, that's fair enough. Obviously you will possibly want some tools to smooth or shape. Now obviously I prefer a very ergonomic shape, and as you can see by this almost skeleton Geiger-esque looking handle I've got, it is super. I mean, this is, I call it the Hyperfit because it is exactly that. This product allowed me to absolutely tailor it to my hand, no one else's hand. I put in features I wanted, a band slap kind of guard, wanted it nice and tight at the back, and I wanted it to fit. And also I lined it up so that when it's in my hand it also sits vertically. I put the holes in I wanted, but I also purposely did this for you guys. You can see it's very ergonomic. But if you take some basic tools, I mean, that's just a grinder, spanner. If you want something that is very angular, then obviously you can use something to roll, something to flatten, and maybe using some blocks, some wood, some metal to have very accurate hard shapes that you then take your blob of material and you push it into, you roll it out very flat and form a basic shape. And what I've done here is I've kept it very ergonomic, but what I've also done is put on just to show, you know, you can get just by hand, you can get some very straight angles, because there are certain areas, of course, where you want the material to be a certain thickness for a certain purpose, to be very even, but you can set up everything as you want it. Now the other thing, of course, is you could make some kind of jig out of wood, if that's your thing, metal, but also if you think about it, you could use something like Lego for a very, you know, to get the shape, and why not? Depending on how you protect it. That's why I'm not going to show you how to make this. This is about you taking a product and making the design you want, and that's just it. I mean, if you've always wanted a pickle fork, if you want a kind of billet look, even if you wanted a traditional branch look, you could take the material, you could squidge it in your hands, make it into a branch, or in this case, something very ergonomic. And really, it's so simple. I mean, here's a piece of material, heat source, and it's as simple as that. You turn it on. It'll take quite a long time with a big chunk, but if you wanted to make a little pocket sling, it's going to take no time. I mean, there already, this has started to soften. I'm not going to do too much because of the noise, but within seconds, this material is soft and it's very pliable, and you know, you can use tools to make what you want. Now another handy thing which you don't need is you make your basic shape. Now in this case it was the handle for me. Now to make these more accurate areas, if you've got one, a precision heat gun is ideal, because when this material, you know, when it's cold, you've got the basic shape, you can use the precision heat gun to heat up a small area. Any imperfections you can take out. If you've got a bump, you can take it down. Sharp corners, in this case, now as a band comes around the corner, if it's sharp, you can smooth it. You could even put grooves in for your bands if that's what you want. I just wanted to drill 4 tubes. It's amazing. It's amazing stuff. And anything you want, you can have. Now another thing, you might live somewhere, say you live in Dubai or a very hot part of America, Africa. You might say, well, yeah, but this is no good. This stuff reacts to heat. But what you can do, which is also the brilliant thing about this, build the slingshot, make it, shoot it, test it, refine all the areas that you want, and then if it's your thing, scan it with a 3D printer, and then make it out of the material you want. Alternatively, if you're not that technical, maybe you make a mold of this and then you make it out of resin, because that's a material you like. I've seen lots of excellent transparent slingshots. It doesn't have to be the end product. It can give you the end product as well. And obviously the other thing is, once you make one, depending on what tech you've got, you can replicate as many as you want. And the only thing I will say is, if you do decide to put holes in it, as I've done in this case, as much as anything for an example, when you put your hole in, because this reacts to heat, drill it small, drill it slow. Open it out to the size you want, slowly, probably from both sides, back to front. Pull the material out and let it cool down until it's sticky, and then go in with just the drill and push it in and out like a file, and it will cut, and you can see how nice and smooth these holes are. But if you do it with the drill rotating, it'll melt it, and it'll never clean up. So that's just a little tip. I'm not trying to be funny. I think this product can give you anything you want. And the other thing is, now if you think about it, you start off with a certain shape, And this is where it comes in about every slingshot you ever want. Don't buy another slingshot. Make the style you want. Now, isn't that amazing? And the better you get with the material, the less naive the thing you produce will be. Now, isn't that amazing? You know, if you got into this product, you literally could make every slingshot you ever wanted. And this, oh sorry, this is a 400-gram bag. This 400-gram bag made this slingshot, and it's not even half empty, for 10 English pounds. Now, if that won't give you any slingshot you ever wanted, I don't know what will, apart from a very specific custom one. But what's more custom than making your own? This is the Innovator signing off and saying just go for it. I think you could get something absolutely amazing, and I'd like to see what you create.